everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lauren Mehaffy. I'm an admissions counselor here at Quincy University. I am joined by another admissions counselor, Brianna Rivera. And then we have student ambassador, Rachel Edwards, here with us from the admissions side of things. If at any point you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask a question, send it in the chat. We will be monitoring that for sure. Otherwise, we can just kind of get started. I will let both professors introduce themselves and we will kind of go from there.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Dr. Lansom and the Associate Professor and Coordinator of Special Education at Quincy University.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Dr. McCarty and I'm Director of the Teacher Education. So nice to meet you.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. Could you guys just give a quick kind of overview of like who else teaches in the education program here at QU?
Sure, I can do that. So I teach, so Dr. Lansom teaches all the special education courses, and then there's a couple other professors too that help him out with those. And then I teach a couple upper level courses kind of for all education majors. And then we have Dr. Auk, who teaches mostly early childhood and children's lit. Then we have an instructor, Miss Preeb, and she teaches the bulk of kind of education in elementary ed. And then we have some great like part-time instructors that cover like the reading methods and middle school methods and things like that. So we really have a big range of team and a lot of expertise. Like we have a lot of instructors that have retired from school systems and or spent a good portion of their career in the school. So we bring a lot of that practical experience into the QU classrooms.
Perfect. Thank you.
And what majors are all offered in the education program?
I can answer that one too. So we do
A lot of them.
like early childhood up through second grade. So that gets you that kindergarten piece that some people really want. So that's early childhood. And then we have the elementary, which is grades 1 through 6. And some people don't want kindergarten, so they just go straight through, they don't even add on early childhood. They just do 1 through 6. Then we have middle grades, which are the 4 content is, and secondary, which is the same content areas. And then we have special education, which covers, and I always forget, but it's pre through 2021. So, right, Dr. Lansom?
Yeah, that's actually correct for the license. And practically, we in school terms, we pretty much think kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah.
But practically age-wise, preschool through age 21.
Yeah, so we have all of that. So. And then we also have a music education too.
Awesome. Rachel, which major are you going with?
I am elementary education.
Okay, awesome. How did you get interested in elementary education?
I just, from young age, I've always just wanted to be a teacher. When I was thinking about whether I wanted the early childhood and the elementary or just elementary, I was like, I'll have more opportunities if I go with elementary. So I just went ahead with that. Maybe eventually I might add on the endorsement, but we'll see how things go.
Great. What are some of your guys' favorite courses to teach?
I can start. So for me, I'm teaching those 2 now. I only teach half time, so I teach an ethics in education, and I like it much better when it's face to face. So, but because there's a lot of rich discussions, and we just do case studies about anything that's happening right now in schools, like anything maybe from we talk about income, poverty, and how that impacts school, everything to like how religion in schools work out, to gender, just whatever. A lot of times I'll bring in current events too. So it's really just so much fun just to have students think about all these different issues and how that's going to play out when you teach. So it really just kind of prepares you for that. But that's, it's just every semester when it's been face to face, it's just like the students just have such rich conversations and then they really see that there's really not a right or wrong answer a lot of times. It's so gray, and you're dealing with human lives and real students and families. So, you have to really choose wisely about how you're going to handle that situation.
Would you say that's like the most unique course within the education program, or are there other ones that kind of stand out?
Actually, I think, and Dr. Langston can speak on that too. I think a lot of us do that rich discussion and do case studies and real life events and stuff in there too. And Rachel, you might have some good experiences to share too. But and COVID's different right now, so but hopefully that's behind us soon. But all of our courses go out into the elementary schools and around the town, and so I think they get to see a lot of firsthand experience. And one thing that, and because I've worked at two other, or been part of two other universities, that one thing I notice about our student teachers is just that they're so confident when they get to student teaching. I mean, you always have those like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but they see that they are, and they just know, they're just so experienced with the classroom.
And COVID is really affecting that aspect right now, as we can all imagine. It's been hard to get, we can't really fulfill our model the way we want to during the COVID era. But we just hope that, in time, we're hoping by next fall that we're going to be able to open up again so that we can get even our foundational students into schools for the various opportunities that we have, even for foundational courses. With the COVID, we've only been able to have our actual student teachers in the schools. And, but we'll just hope for better times. But I know like any prospective students kind of understands that we're dealing with things that are being dealt with across the country. So, but that is the strength of our program, a lot of hands-on experiences. And I found too that what Dr. McCarty said, student teachers do seem to be a lot more confident after they have that array of field experiences prior to student teaching.
Absolutely. Thank you. Rachel, is there any hands-on experiences that you've had with the QU education program that you want to talk about?
One of my favorite is we have one class that we take, reading language arts, and we have a reading center that goes along with that. And we get one student that we get to work one-on-one with, and we work on reading skills and writing and things like that. And that's just really great. We have to go through like contacting their teacher, doing like a parent teacher conference. And so that just really gets us ready to do some of those things that we'll be doing in the classroom anyway. So that's a really cool class that a lot of kids look forward to taking.
And I love that students get to do that, because it really does give them that real classroom feel very early on, to make sure, I do like working with, younger students or whatever it may be. So I love that you kind of go into that student teaching aspect kind of armed and ready with your experience here at QU. Are students able to be certified in multiple areas within the education department?
Yeah, so Rachel kind of touched on that too. So she picked elementary ed, and if she wanted to, it's really easy to do an endorsement. So like if she wanted to pick special education, then she would only need 3 more classes to do that. So it's really easy, and it kind of varies. Like if she wanted to add on early childhood, it's 6 classes. Middle school kind of varies depending on the content. So it's really easy to stack and do that. And because a lot of our classes overlap for the same majors. So.
Sure.
So, and we'll try not to make things too technical on just an informational session like this, but like Dr. McCarty said, we can add what we call endorsements fairly easy to any existing license. So for example, if a person like Rachel wanted to be elementary ed, she could even have like a special ed endorsement with 3 additional courses beyond what she would already be taking. That would enable her to teach only in the grades that she's going to be initially certified for. And if someone wanted to be in the field full-time for a long period of time, we would probably suggest having an actual major in that given field, like special ed in my example, or even early childhood if that was a person's real forte, to get the full program. But we do have flexibility.
And how does the student teaching work for students? When do they start that process?
They do that the last semester, basically, that they're here. And everything they do up until that point will culminate with student teaching. So right now we're, for people that are going to be student teaching in the fall, we're having like March 1st be the application point for if you want to be student teaching in the fall. So it's a process. It's a process, but we try to keep ahead of the game. Then we make sure that people have taken all the courses that they need and that they will be able to go into the student teaching. So that's truly all they have left.
Yeah, and one thing we do is the semester before you student teach, we try to put you out into the classroom that you're going to student teach in to make sure it's a good fit. So, and that works on both ways. As a student, a QU student, you may say, you know, I don't really like this classroom. And so we kind of work with you and see what's going on and see if there's a better match or better fit. So and that it does happen on both sides. And even like teachers, maybe they have something comes up and they're like, you know, I'm not actually going to be able to take a student teacher. And so it's really good to kind of have that and experience a little bit before you student teach. And if you do that in the fall and student teach in the spring, then you know those students already because you've had some experience with them, and then you'll student teach with them. So that's another reason I think that adds to our students' confidence.
That's such a big perk of Quincy. I mean, Quincy University and City of Quincy, what great relationships the university have with, the local schools, that you're able to get in there and meet those teachers and students before you're in there, kind of full time as a student teacher. So I love that about QU and just Quincy in general, that we really make sure students are comfortable before we kind of just set them free and we're like, good luck. Students really go in prepared, which is nice.
Well, and that's a good point, Lauren. We have 2 students right now that just started their student teaching that already signed contracts with Quincy Public Schools. So, so it's a good, you get to see the schools, they get to see you, and sometimes they sign contracts. So
what a huge weight to be like lifted off your shoulders your final semester of college, to know like, you know what, I need to student teach. If I don't mess anything up too bad, I have a job after this. Like, what a relieving thing to know, especially, you work 4 years, you want to be able to come out with that next step. So how cool to know that. Now, who advises students every semester for your guys' department?
it's a combination. So Dr. Lansom takes all the special education, and then we have Dr. Ock mostly will focus in on the early childhood, and then Mrs. Free for the elementary middle, and then we have Mrs. Sorensen who does a lot of elementary middle too. So we all kind of pitch in and work together. Sometimes I take the secondary. So yeah, it's a real combined effort. We try to put you with the person who's the expert in that discipline, but
sure. I mean, what better advisors to have than your own professors that know the program inside and out. So that's great.
So there's an event that takes place in the summer, and somebody was just talking to me about it. It's called STEAM. Can you talk a little bit about that event that you hold?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So we just 2 summers ago, we started like a summer camp, and it's to give the QU students an opportunity to teach in the summer. And and we just take registrations from the youth in the community. But actually, like, we've had youth from Missouri and Iowa too that come to it. And you just, as a QU student, you design your lesson around a theme and you decorate your classroom and you have the classroom running all week and the students are in and out doing all kinds of fun activities and stuff, all hands on. So,
Fun. I always love that week because there's campus is so alive in the middle of summer, and it's like, wow, it's so nice to see people after everyone's been gone for a couple of months.
well, and another chance, I don't, and Rachel can talk about this. Rachel's a Golden Apple Scholar. So, and you're in Illinois, right, Sarah? So, Rock Island, and you should check into that too. And Rachel can talk about it real quick.
Yeah,
And
Rachel, do you want to go ahead?
This is a scholarship that you can apply for. They do a lot of, I think if you get it like coming into college, I think it's up to $23,000 as financial aid, something like that. They, over the summers, you go and they'll have you in classrooms, they'll be doing like teacher workshops and things like that. And then, of course, they'll give you the financial aid aspect at school. You do get paid for their internship type things over the summer. So that gives you a little bit of money for what you're doing as well. So that's a really good scholarship if you're in Illinois to apply for. I think, oh shoot, when is it? It's coming up soon.
I think it's April 1st or somewhere, maybe. Maybe?
Yeah, is the deadline to apply. But if you just look up Golden Apple, Illinois, you should be able to find that.
Perfect. Thank you, Rachel. And one thing I just want to note from like the QU aspect of things too, all scholarship money at QU is stackable. So upon acceptance, I know you received like a merit scholarship that your admissions counselor, Taylor, has talked to you about. If you would receive that scholarship, that money would stack right on top of there. So that's one thing to consider. Never too much scholarship money, in my opinion. So definitely check into that. And of course, let us know if you have any questions regarding that closer to the time. Could one of you guys describe the professional development school model?
Okay, I'll talk a little about it. That started back in 2006.
Okay.
And so we have a long history with it. We basically have all of our 4 pre-professional courses. They're pretty much intro courses. That's why we call them pre-professional, like our foundations or intro to education, intro to special ed or survey course. We have a media and tech course in it, and then we have educational psychology in it. And all of those operate under the professional development school model, where we spend at least a portion of those classes in schools weekly. And it's a good time for students to ask themselves, really, if is this something I really want to do? And I think getting that spread across a few classes can answer that for a student. And then we do have some other capabilities within the program where we also would be in schools and kind of with a professional development school model. So in a nutshell, it's hands-on experience way before you start teach. And that's above and beyond the clinical experiences that you are required to take. And at minimum, that's 120 clock hours extra beyond all those pre-professional courses. And in special ed, we even have an additional practicum, which is probably at least 60 hours in the field. And that's all before student teaching.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, my next question is going to be if you had any like additional hands-on career prep opportunities, but you kind of were able to describe some of those. Did we miss any? Are there any other like field trips that you guys might go on, or do you have guest speakers come in throughout the year to talk about different topics within education?
Well, Mrs. Pre has designed a travel course to Costa Rica. So that we hope will run next January 2022. I think that's when the university plans to start study abroad trips again. So with that, we're going to try to run that every other January. And you'll fly to Costa Rica, and you'll be in an international school near the capital city, which is San Jose. And then you'll travel about 5 miles out of the capital to this rainforest cloud. It's called Cloud Rainforest. It's Monteverde. And there's a, there's a rainforest kind of workstation where students like in the 1980s started raising money to save the rainforest, and which you guys don't remember that, but Dr. Lansom and I remember that. So anyway, they founded this, they bought all this acreage in this rainforest. So now it's like this, a lot of school groups go there, and then you can there's like a lab and dormitories and stuff, rustic. So you'll go there and you'll do some rainforest activities, and then there are some public and private schools there, so you could kind of get a taste of those schools as well that are Costa Rican schools. The international school is a little bit different. And then you'll end up at the beach for a night and kind of do some activities there and then fly home. So we're like developing more in those things. So just to give the students, other experiences.
Absolutely. Man, the beach sounds good right now. I want
to go.
I could go for some time on the beach.
Who wouldn't want to go to Costa Rica in January? So
I mean, I'm in. I'm totally in. What do you guys feel sets QU education graduates apart from others?
Hands-on experience would be a biggie. I'm not going to say that other schools don't have a degree of that, but I just think looking back, I've been here for quite a few years, and when this professional development school model started, and as it's continued, we've just seen stronger teachers. So I think that's a big part of who we want to be.
Yeah, I think all of our partnership schools see that too, with the confidence of our students. And I mean, really, we'd have like 100% job placement rate. There's always a graduate or two that does something different, but but really everyone gets a job who wants the job, who wants a teaching job.
Well, my next question was going to be, what do you think makes QU special, just in general as a school, maybe apart from the education program? What do you think really would pull a student in?
I'm going to comment a little bit on that. Even though I've been here for many, many years, I tell people that now I'm not an admissions person, but what they tell you in admissions is true as far as QU does have a unique environment. QU is a good community to be in. Although I have been here many years, it is the first private school that I was ever at. My experiences were all in public schools and public undergraduate, master's, doctorate. So QU is my first private school experience, and they do honestly hold true to their mission. And it's a very good community, and it's supportive. You do get to know people here, and we try very hard to care for our students.
Agreed.
Rachel, is there any? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Rachel should answer that, like something that she enjoys or likes. So
I was just gonna say, Rachel, please give us from the student perspective.
No, I definitely agree with Dr. Lansom that it's just so welcoming here. I love that. I mean, I've had both Dr. Lansom and Dr. McCarty, and I mean, really your professors, especially in your department, really know you. But even people who aren't in your department, they'll still know my name, like that I've had several classes or like their class several semesters ago. And so it's like, you're not just a student on campus. It's a small enough community campus that even people in the cafeteria, they'll know your name and stuff like that. So that's just one of the great things that I like.
I agree. And I know I'm biased, but I got my master's from the QU education department. So I think it's the best. But seriously, just kind of that very one-on-one attention and having great advisors, Dr. McCarty, who will sit down with you when you feel like your world is caving in. It's just really that attention that you just don't find other places. So it was super cool to see that through even my master's program, when I feel like you're supposed to have it figured out, that I still had professors that were patient with me and really wanted to work with me one-on-one. I think that's a huge aspect of Quincy, which is cool. Does anyone have anything else they would like to share? Any final words of wisdom, final thoughts? If not, we can go ahead and end this. It was all recorded. So if you at any point ever want to watch this back, it will be on our YouTube channel for you to kind of check out and review what was all said. So thank